Hey folks, welcome back to Only the Best Fantasy Novels. My name is Robin, and today I want to talk about Valor, the second book in the Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. Now, I wasn't exactly mind blown by Malice, but by no means was it a bad book for me. It was good enough that I was perfectly happy to continue on when, like, I was told, that Valor is the book where it gets good. The third book is where it gets good. So I was perfectly happy to read on and see, where it gets good. So here I am in Valor. In this story, in this particular book, we've had invasion occur. A metric ton of people have died. Corbin and his family have, and not even all of his family, have fled to they've fled their home after the keep was essentially the king was essentially overthrown, and after having fled while they were on the run and planning their next steps, they found out that Corbin's sister, who was believed dead, is certainly not dead, and they decide to go back for her. And in between all of that, in the background, we have like Corbin is the avatar of the good god. In the background, we have the avatar of the bad god, making his moves, continuing to dominate, continuing to overthrow kingdoms in a bid to become the High King, in a bid to kind of solidify control over the Banished Lands, to gather the seven magical objects that will help tip the balance of power in this war towards Azat's side. One cool thing I did like about this whole thing is that the bad avatar is essentially being deluded by the agent of Azat that he is the bright star, the avatar of the good Lord. And everything he's been done, all this atrocity, all this war, all this death that he's waging, is in service to the good God, and to bring his force, the Benihim, onto Earth, into the Banished Lands, to help defeat the evil Lord. And he was told that this kid Corbin is the avatar of the evil Lord, and that's why he has like a woven with him. And these kind of things. So that was a nice little twist on it. So beyond that, what else is there to talk about this book? Honestly, pretty much nothing, because if you watch my review of Malice, like you'll know that, as I mentioned, the good things about John Gwynne is that he writes really great action sequences, and he has his actual prose. He has the ability to occasionally turn a phrase here and there that it elevates the writing. It elevates the dialogue and these kind of things. It can add a sense of the epic to this book that it feels less and less like epic fantasy. This is very much like a low fantasy focused kind of book, as much as it has these epic elements to it. But beyond that, like, pretty much all the issues I had with Malice transferred to this book. It's a very linear plot. You know pretty much everything that's going to happen. It plays out with little to no surprise. The characters, once again, there's almost nothing in terms of characterization for any other character unless they're in a life and death battle, when they'll suddenly exhibit some semblance of a personality right before one of them gets whacked. There is a little bit more of the sense of the magical in this book, but not by much. Unfortunately, the good and evil is quite clearly delineated, and there's not much creativity applied beyond that. But yeah, like, at this point, I went into this book with my expectations well tempered after reading Malice. Like, I knew what I was getting into, and what this book excels at, and why I can see people like say this is where it gets good. Is because this book is pretty much non-stop action. Like, a whole ton of people die. tons and tons and tons of people die. Like there's almost constant fighting, constant war. When it's not one-on-one battles, it's these big battle sequences, it's sieges, it's crazy, like non-stop action. And yeah, like if you're a fan of action sequences, of battle sequences in fantasy, these are the books for you. Like that's what they excel at. John Gwynne is a reenactor of this thing, and that's why he's so good at it. And I do acknowledge that that's pretty much the draw of these books. If you're like me, who expects a little more character development, or you like a little more of a character driven story, this isn't gonna work out so well for you. If one of your favorite things about fantasy is literally the fantastical, like the creativity, the imagination, and these kind of things, once again, these are not the books for you. When you sign up for this, you pretty much sign up for a blood-soaked battle, for reading a constant blood-soaked battle, and that's what you get. And I went into this book with much lower expectations after reading Malice. I went into it expecting that low expectations pretty much, and because of that I actually had much more fun with this one than I did Malice, because I was pretty much able to just turn off my brain and read what happened with these characters. Could I remember half of them? Characters are killed off so much that new ones are introduced. By the end of the book, don't ask me to say their names or tell you who they are. I have no idea who these people are. I don't care. There's nothing about them that sticks in my mind. But they were victims of pretty good battle sequences, pretty good fights. And in that regard, I had a blast. So not every book needs to be like a Brandon Sanderson, right? Sometimes you just want a David Yennell, and these are very much. Yeah, these are very much along those lines. So yeah, if the big draw in fantasy books are just action for you, these are the books for you. Like I said, I actually enjoyed Valor a bit more than Malice, mainly because I turned my brain off and everything else. I set my expectations very low, and I just had fun with the ride where the adventure took me, and I'm gonna see how things proceed in Ruin. Do I expect it to blow my mind? Nope. Do I expect this to go anywhere near the top 10 of my fantasy series? Probably won't even scratch the top 100. Top 100 fantasy series. That might be a good list to come up with. I'll think about it. I've certainly read way more than 100. Anyway, yeah. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Valor. If you think I'm dumb, if you think I missed the point, I'm too stupid to appreciate this book, blah blah blah, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to be educated. But yeah, onwards to Ruin, I guess. The other book where I was told that this series gets good, so let's see if it gets good. Yeah, onwards and upwards. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you when I see you.